Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 91 of the Focus on Gaming podcast. My name is Duncan.
And I'm Tom.
And on today's episode, we'll have a bit of what we've been playing, some news, and then me and Tom, we're both a bit of geeks. So we're going to talk Doctor Who and Star Trek. So if you like that, hold on till later. Yep. So, Tom, what have you been playing this week?
I decided to pull the Gamecube out of the loft.
Excellent.
Partly to save it from the heat that's probably coming in the next few months, and the Wii U's out as well. So I've been playing Mario Kart Double Dash and Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Did a bit of Luigi's Mansion as well. And I think Double Dash is probably the best Mario Kart game of all the systems.
Is that the one where you have somebody jump on your back?
Yes. Yeah. We've all been there. But it's the last Mario Kart game where things actually jump out and try and stop you from winning or succeeding. Since then, they're all kind of kid-friendly. So, it's been
cool.
been
Without Googling, how old do you think that game is?
Let me have
I have Googled it.
I'm sure you have.
Come on. Gotta hurry ya.
I'm going to say 1999.
Oh, blimey, you thought it was older than it was. No, it's 22 years old. Really? 2003 for the Gamecube.
I wasn't that far off.
No, very good. I mean, it was on the Gamecube, so it had to be within that range. But no, 22 years old.
Wow, and it doesn't look that bad.
I mean, it's a retro game, so
yeah, I feel like it needs a HD remix.
Well, would you like to, hear something crazy?
Go on.
I've never played it.
Well, you're coming around soon.
Oh, hopefully, yep. I've never played it. I presume it's got the more, obviously being 3D, it's got similar sort of controls to all the recent ones as well.
Yeah,
because I played 7 and 8, and now I played Mario Kart World as well.
It's by far the hardest, I feel, except for the first Mario Kart.
That's all right. I just played 50cc anyway.
But yeah, it's a great game. It really is. I mean, the controller lets it down a little bit, but what can you do? So, what have you been playing anyway?
Well, there was a game that came on Game Pass, and actually, it's called Blueprints, as in Prince and Princesses. And it wasn't until I'd seen it and downloaded it, hadn't bothered playing it or anything like that. And it wasn't until I started playing it that I was literally, you had a roll of blue paper on the splash screen that was loading up, and I was like, why have they got blueprints on it? And then it was like, oh God, it's called Blueprints. And it didn't it took me about a week for it to dawn on me that Prince, Prince, is exactly the same as Prince. So it was Blueprints. But anyway, my stupidity out of the way. Now, it's a hard one to describe. So I've used Microsoft Copilot to do me a description. Okay. So it's a puzzle adventure game with roguelike elements, developed by blah 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 blah. The game challenges players to explore Mount Holly Estate, a mansion with ever-shifting rooms. You play as Simon P. Jones, who has inherited the mansion from his late great uncle. Blah, blah, blah. However, there's a catch. You must locate the hidden 46th room to secure your inheritance. Each day, the mansion resets, forcing you to start fresh, but with new knowledge and strategies. So basically, it's a first-person game, but you have a grid that's, I believe, thinking off the top of my head, is about 5 by about 10 tall. And you put on that map, you put down rooms. You get a choice of 3 rooms every time. And those rooms will have different exits. So they might have one exit, it might have no exits, but it might have items in it, like money, keys, gems, all sorts of things that can buy other things, can unlock some doors are locked. But then there's other rooms that are puzzle rooms, and so you might end up coming to a dead end because the door's locked, or because you only get given a straight ahead when straight ahead is the edge of the map. But then you might get there's a security room, and in that security room you can make it so if you found a key card, you can make it so there's more rooms, more doors with key cards instead of locks, because you could use the key card as much as you like. And you could also find a utility room, which will then power down all those security rooms. And there's all little puzzles like that. There's another one that's got a boiler room where you have to divert steam to the doors. But then, if you do come to a dead end, or you run out of steps, because every time you move, you start with like 40 steps, 50 steps, or something like that. And every time you go into a room or out of a room, you lose a step. But you can gain more steps and all this kind of. So it was not. I didn't look it up at all before I started playing it, and I was playing it. I was thinking, this is actually really good fun. It's very slow paced. The puzzles aren't particularly tricky, but obviously it gets a bit frustrating that you don't finish the game. You think you should be able to finish the game after about the third try, but you can't. And it's just really relaxing, but puzzling as well. There's a strategy game, and it's all sorts of things. So I looked it up, and it's on 92 currently on Metacritic. So yeah, I'd highly, highly recommend it. If you love COD and you want to just blow things up, it's not the game for you. But if you want to have a gentle caressing of your mind, and just try and solve a big puzzle. I haven't completed it yet, so I don't know what is in the 46th room.
Yeah.
But definitely go out there and play it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass. I presume it's available on PC, PS5 as well. Probably Switch. In fact, I'm going to look it up right now. View all platforms: PC, PS5, Xbox Series X. There you go. Go get it.
Wow. Worth a look.
Yeah. Right. Well, I don't know what else have been played. No. Oh, Borderlands 3, but that's a long-term investment, I think. Yeah. Although I was really concerned with that because I've got on various websites and got loads of codes for golden keys, and I went in game 0 keys. And I was getting really frustrated, and I was about to contact their support and say, I should have about 50 keys. But I eventually found that somewhere that someone said, check your mail while you're in the game. I was like, oh, I haven't got any mail. And I checked them out. I had loads of them. I didn't have 50 keys. I had about 160.
Oh.
So everything's all good in the hood now. So, So I enjoyed Borderlands 2 very much. I've never really got into Borderlands 3, but I'm playing it now and loving it. Yeah, it's quite good. Right. So, bit of news: the Switch 2. Yes. Now they've reinstated the pre-orders for the US lot, but because of volatility, shall we say, they have raised the price of accessories. So it will still be, I think it's something like $460 and $500 for the 2 packages.
Yeah.
Without Mario Kart and with Mario Kart, something like that. That is staying the same, but the other prices are, I think the Joy-Cons, they're going up by like $5 or $10 kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's not, they haven't doubled in price or anything, but they are going up, I think, because I think it's games consoles are not being exempted at the moment. So and it may still change. Hope for people's sakes that they don't, but this is what you get when you vote.
I went into I went into a game the other day, and I said to the
Do
guy,
they still do games?
"Well, they've actually announced today they're auctioning off all their gaming stock. I think it's their excess gaming stock. But anyway, I said to him, "Are you taking pre-orders for Switch 2?" He said, "Only on our website." I said, "Okay, interesting." I said, "Well, I don't think there's any need to pre-order anyway, because it's going to be absolutely fine. I mean, you know, it's just a bit of a farce when people say they're not going to get it." And he went, "Well, I don't know, and he went into this big spiel about how it's not going to be easy to get hold of and all things like that. And I thought, yeah, whatever, mate.
Yeah, but then nobody was expecting it with I mean, it started first. I think was the Wii was the first one that everyone was like, "Oh my god, can't get it for love nor money." Because I think that was about a year and a half it took for it to catch up a bit, and even then it was, you could get one if you didn't sit around on your ass, but yeah, I remember that's why I first got an Xbox 360 because we went to buy a Wii and they said,
yeah,
so that's why I bought it. But yeah, on pre-order, and I remember I just about got an Amazon pre-order because like all websites that you could get a Series X pre-order on were crashing and freezing, and I had a PC at the time, and I had about 20 tabs open, and was just refreshing them all.
Yeah.
Tried, and if any of the it said Amazon or game or whatever popped up on the tab, I was going to them, clicking. Eventually, Amazon went bing. Yep, you've done it, but it took hours for the email to come through because everything slowed down. But I got one. I still remember on launch date for the Xbox Series X, though, I got an email saying your Series X has been delayed, and so I contacted support and went, "No, I don't think so. I pre-ordered, so you can have one today. Thank you very much." And given their due, they went, "Oh yeah, we found one." So I feel sorry for whoever then got an email saying, "Yeah, we ain't got one for you," but shows the power of moaning. So
absolutely,
yeah. So if you don't get what you order, moan.
Always encourage people to have
PS5. I mean, did you get that from launch or anything like
that? Yeah, not
Close
far
to?
off. I mean, I got it.
How
for my
hard
kid.
did you find?
I found it easy. Wasn't a problem. So, yeah.
Yeah, I never quite understood. In this country, it wasn't. I don't think it was ever that hard. There was shortages, but generally, your brick and mortar shops generally would you could go in there and go, "I'm really looking for one," and most of the time they go, "Yeah, we've got 20 coming in next week," and you go, "Here you go, I'll pay for it now." And a lot. I knew a couple of people who did that, and game managers in game were generally fine with that. They just go, "There you go, got a receipt," and they said, if we don't get one, I will refund you. It's not a problem, but they knew exactly how many they were getting. They knew exactly how many on a particular day, and they said, I've sold 10 of them, but I'm getting 30. And I mean, Series X, I think it was about 6 months a year over here. Between 6 months a year, it sort of slowed down, and you could start getting them.
I've always been really lucky with consoles because I've never had an issue getting them. I can't even think of any machine that I struggled with. Even the Wii, I had it within a month of it coming out.
Yeah, I mean, things like PlayStation 2, I remember I got a launch day one, and even though I had a problem with them, I still could have sold it. I think, what was it, £400, something like that? I could have sold it for £1,000. But within, I think, 2 weeks, they were just sitting in the shops for you to buy.
Yeah.
So anybody selling you, because it was obviously, early days, but there was the internet that you could, or you could sell things on either local paper or whatever. And I could have sold that, and unfortunately I didn't, because Mine has a dodgy DVD laser.
We had access to a supplier in, I think it was China, for PSPs. So we imported 50 of them, and all the shops didn't have any of the original, and we were knocking them out, so selling them just to people,
nice.
knocking on the door. Can I have one, please? It's quite good. So
in a car park in Curry's car park.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want a PSP?
Yeah.
But that PSP was released earlier in Japan, wasn't it? There wasn't any sort of, that was at the late end of sort of not worldwide releases, was there? Could you imagine now if Sony went, oh yeah, PS6 is coming in 2026, going to release it in Japan in June, everywhere else in 2027?
Can you imagine?
There would be absolute outrage, wouldn't there?
Yeah.
Oh, granted, with worldwide supply, it's quite easy, nowadays. But that's what it was like in the day. If you didn't live in Japan, you had to wait an extra year to get these things. So
yeah, I remember that with the Super Nintendo and the Dreamcast and all sorts.
Yeah. And we used to on things like the TV shows, the gaming TV shows. They'd have imports and say, oh, in Japan they're playing this, or we've got an import and we're playing, and you'd have to watch somebody play it on the TV and be like, I want one of them. And you just literally, unless you paid, double, treble the price, you couldn't get it because they knew they were people would pay that much because you couldn't get them in another country. So anyway, so Switch 2 accessories. I think like $5, $10, maybe $15 more, but it ain't going to break your bank if you weren't going to buy them. It ain't going to make a difference. You're still going to be paying $80 for a game, though. So
yeah, that's the truth. And you've played it, so I didn't hear your thoughts on it. What were your thoughts on it?
Of course, yes, that was all. You were here for the last episode. Well, I mean, in terms of raw power, I think £400 is fantastic. You're getting a good piece of hardware. It's slim. It's the magnetic locks seem to work really well. Obviously, I was playing with a dummy unit that had been used by hundreds of people that day, and they still seem to be quite sturdy. In terms of the power, I played Mario Kart World, I played Donkey Kong Bonanza, Drag X Drive. Drag X Drive was a bit empty, a bit shallow, but if they add more to it, it could be interesting. The main thing I didn't like was the mouse controls actually work really well, but if you put Joy-Cons on the side and try and grip them, they're really thin. And they're taller than they are thin. So if you move them around, they fall over. And so didn't really like the mouse controls, which if you played, I played Metroid Prime 4, and the mouse controls work really well when you're holding it weirdly, but then you've got to also press the buttons while you're using it as a mouse. So you've got to use the trigger and the shoulder buttons as a left and right mouse click, and then there was like Drag X Drive. You were using buttons and all sorts for other things as well. So Metroid Prime was quite difficult to control with the mouse, like basically controller and mouse. That's what it was. You use Joy-Con as you would like the nunchuck with the Wii, and then the right as mouse. And you could probably change it however you want, but yeah. So mouse controls not good, but the actual control, the actual function of the mouse, very good. Cyberpunk looks absolutely very impressive. I don't think it was optimized very well. So I put it in performance mode, and it looked like everybody was sort of going really fast. So yes, it hadn't got a frame limiter on it. So I think all the people, instead of just the frame limit going up to 60 frames per second or whatever, I think the people were walking at double the frame rate. But the quality mode works very well. It was a fantastic looking game for a handheld. I think it puts even Steam Deck to shame. Okay. But I don't know whether that was using some kind of upscaling or anything like that. So
okay.
I only played it for about 10 minutes, and also putting it onto inverted didn't work. So I couldn't control it very well. Which I did say to them. They said, "Oh, did you get it onto inverted?" I'm like, "No." But I was like, "That's fine." At the end of the day, it's a preview version, so it's got the big letters across the top saying there's a work in progress. I did want to go. It's a work in progress that's been out for about 3 years. But no, a version for the Switch, I think would definitely get it. If you're going to get a Switch 2, get Cyberpunk, because playing that on a handheld is just jaw dropping. Yeah,
that's interesting.
So Switch 2, you are getting a good piece of hardware for the cost. The ecosystem, however, is expensive. So don't moan at Nintendo for the hardware cost. Moan at Nintendo for the software cost. And
as in the games.
The games and the constant price, not the price that doesn't seem to. They're like, you don't like paying £70 for a game? Okay, we'll put this 6-year-old game at £65 because we're generous. We're Nintendo, yay! So they need to have more games like PlayStation and Xbox and Steam have, where they go, and obviously it's a developer thing as well. So third-party developers will reduce their games to quite cheaply. Yeah. But people buy a Switch for first-party games, and Nintendo know that. So they go, we're not going to give you much of a discount. Screw you. Cyberpunk, you might pay £60 for it when it comes out, but I bet you within 6 months you'll be able to get it for 30 quid, and within a year and a half you'll be able to probably get it for 15.
Yeah.
Maybe 20, I don't know, but you'll be able to get it a lot cheaper. And that's Cyberpunk, which is 100% a AAA game. So,
definitely. It's exciting stuff. I look forward to playing with it when it eventually hits the stores. And
do you think you'll get one?
Eventually. I have no plans to get it this year. My plan is to buy a Steam Deck this year at some stage.
Holding out for the OLED?
We'll see. I don't really care, to be honest with you, about that.
Better battery life, better screen, Wi-Fi 6. So you'll have faster downloads.
Yeah.
Because you have fast internet, don't you?
Yeah. I'm just not sure I'm that fussed about the screen quite a lot. I mean, I'm going to use it for retro most of the time anyway. So cheaper the better. And I'm just going to update the internal drive to a 2 terabyte, and that'll be that. So
that is easy. I have done that twice.
Okay, well,
successfully. Just make sure you ground yourself.
And it's all right. I'm going to ask you to do it anyway. And
don't forget to take the micro SD card out.
I'm going to ask you to do it anyway. Don't worry about
it. All right. It takes about half an hour at most.
You have more hands than I do, so it feels like it's safer.
Yeah. What you mean? You wouldn't trust your 15-year-old with the £400 computer?
Well, he has one anyway. So and
has he upgraded his?
He has put a 1 terabyte SD in there.
But so he's just put an SD in there.
Yeah, he hasn't upgraded the internals. I think we're gonna leave.
What's he got in his?
Has
he got 256 or 512?
512, I think it is.
512. Okay, I mean that's probably not.
And for him, he only used it for bloody Minecraft and what's it called? Some dinosaur game he plays.
Ark,
yeah. So he doesn't really do anything else with it. I've installed a few retro games on there that he's going to be really annoyed about.
Well, what I've noticed with Steve recently, because my stepson was like, "Oh, the family sharing isn't working." I'm like, "Yeah, because they scrapped that." And he went, "Oh." I went, "They put something else in." It's like, "Oh, could you share all your library with me again?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I looked it up, and it's more like parental controls now. So I could put limits on games and all this kind of thing. So I'm like,
Good.
I can control things.
Good.
Because obviously all those sex games that I got. I mean, whoops. I think he's got a. I think he's got a child's account. I think we restricted his account so that he can't see all the adult. I mean, there are thousands of adult games. That one that people were campaigning, what's it called? That has been withdrawn. I don't know if you saw this. It was in the news. There was a game that, from the description, it was non-consensual sexual content.
Oh.
Let's just leave it at that. So there was a lot of hoo-ha about that it shouldn't have been let on there in the first place, and eventually I think Valve and the developers went, "All right, we'll take it off." Yeah, I mean it was a bit. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played it, nor have a desire to play it. It's a visual novel, so I don't want to play any visual novel. So there you go. Right. What else in the news? There was been a quite funny thing in the last few weeks. It was basically we've had an episode before with AI. We said eventually there will be games saying, "I want to play a sci-fi first-person shooter based on Mars with giant lizards," and AI will be able to create that game for you. Now, Microsoft basically displayed a video of their generative AI game tool, and it was meant to make a version of Quake 2. And not only did it look terrible, but the frame rate of it was so it was a browser-based AI rendition. And if you look at the video of it, oh god, it looks horrible. Yeah, low frame rate, graphics all over the place, and so basically, it was meant to be like a video. It's a video of a game, but I think eventually that you'd be able to interact with.
Yeah,
and it was one of these ones where you look at it and go, "I'm sure there's really good technology in there, but it isn't very good to the point where people can actually go, wow, that's cool." If you show me a big VR thing and say, "We're obviously going to make it smaller, but look at the cool things it can do." If it then went, "Oh, hang on, I'm just going to load up Sinclair Basic 128, you'd go, no, that's not very cool. Well, basically, this was the equivalent of saying, look at this great AI thing," and then showing, an AI, Sinclair.
Oh, it's terrible, isn't it?
Oh, you're just watching it now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's like playing a Quake on a 486.
It's like playing Quake on acid. So I think we're okay, or developers are okay for now in terms of being put out of work. But one thing it does show that technology is coming. Just I think they're okay for now.
I've had a few discussions about AI, and I hear all these experts going, AI is going to take over this and that, and it's going to put people out of work. It's not.
The thing is, at the moment, it can do a lot of things for a lot of jobs, and it can also do art. It can do that, but it is obviously AI art. It is, there is, if you get it to write a story, there's mistakes or there's no soul in it, kind of thing. You can get it to create things, but that's still having the human element kind of
Yeah.
thing. And I'm not an artist, so for personal use, I mean, it's making a picture is fantastic. Making a picture is
Well,
great.
our Retrofest we've been working on, Southeast Retrofest. The logo for that is made with Gemini, Google Gemini. So, but it took many attempts to get it to spell the words correctly.
And they've improved now as well, because the whole words thing.
Yeah.
I did something for someone the other day, and it was a bit of a joke between us, and it did words on a banner perfectly. I'm like, ooh, I've never seen that before. And then you've got this this craze at the moment with everybody doing like action figures of themselves.
Yeah.
And that's doing the words on the packaging perfectly accurate.
Yeah.
So, and even go back a year and getting those to look any good would have been pretty hit and miss. Mostly miss though.
There's also that one of the creating images of stars, like music stars at concerts, taking selfies with the audience. And there's one of Michael Jackson taking a selfie with the audience. And I tell you what, it's practically lifelike. It's really impressive.
Yeah. I mean, it's scarily fantastic.
But I still don't think it's going to put people out of work. I really don't. It's going to be something a bit like VR, where it will be on the outskirts and it'll add things to email and using office products, and you'll have like a feature within a game where you can use AI to develop a weapon, or AI will be the one that controls the enemy character, but it's not going to take over.
You've already got a few of the big. I mean, Nvidia are developing their own. Asus. I can't remember who else. I think Lenovo might even be having one. But some of the gaming ones that are coming out are there's an AI that's coming out that will assess your gameplay in various games. So it watches you play, and then tells you how well. After the game, it will go, what you should probably try hiding a bit more. Maybe don't reload so often, all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But also, what has riled a few feathers is that some people, some have showed off. One that will say there is somebody over there on that hill. So, like in something like PUBG, where I'm going, I can't see anybody. AI would go, bing, there's somebody.
Yeah. Wasn't the Alien game? Didn't that use AI or something? Or
No. Well, I mean, there's been some games that have been caught out using AI artwork.
oh no, I tell you, it used sound to detect where you were. That was what it was. It learned.
Alien Isolation. If you had a microphone, you could have it where it detects. Same with a Quiet Place. Something Road. I can't remember what it was, but that one as well. If you made a sound, it could detect where you were.
Yeah.
Wasn't as good as that. Alien Isolation. Just makes your heart pound.
I think that's where it's going. That's where it will impact games. But I think if we're still doing this podcast in 5 years' time and 10 years' time,
I think there'll be AI in games a lot. Yes.
Yeah, I just don't think it will be something where it's taking over.
Well, I think the ones who will succeed will be those who embrace it. But I mean, in terms of if you're a developer who knows how to do all the programming and the level design and all that kind of thing, but you're rubbish at textures, if you could just go, I need a texture for this model. I want it to be an army guy who's 36 with a white beard, and has a scar on his forehead. Big. Yeah. You don't have to send that off and wait 4 hours for somebody to send back this kind of thing, and then they go, okay, now I'll actually do the actual full thing. Instead, you could get it in 10 seconds.
There is an AI web design.
You can get AI for everything. I mean, my other half is a teacher, and her school already have various AI things that are built into all the software that are specialists for teachers. Yeah, I mean, as soon as I search for anything on Google, there'll be there's an AI for that kind of thing. Yeah, and so yeah. Do I think it will reduce the number of jobs? Yes. Do I think there will always be the need for example, human artists? Yes, yeah, I think there will. But like the other day, my brother-in-law has a dog, and he's had what size is it? Is it an A3? An A3 piece of art of his dog as an Elizabethan, like an Elizabethan dress, like the dog's head. And he's had that up on his wall for a couple of years now, and he's always said that he'll happily do one for us.
Yeah.
So we've sent him a picture, and he said he'll do it at some point. But the other day, I just went on Chat GPT, uploaded a picture of my dog, and said, "Put this dog in an Elizabethan dress and do it in the style of a painting." Boom! There it was. Perfect picture. Also got it as an upper class 17th century woman with one of those big wigs. And boom, there it was instantly. Although I did have to say, could I have the skin in black fur, please? Because it just seemed weird. And look, see my dog's head with cleavage. It's like, yeah, no, I don't want to really see my dog's breasts. Thank you very much.
Ooh. How funny.
Well, I mean, I do, but that's the problem. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'll shut up now.
You should.
So yeah, so Microsoft AI, just keep it to your technology shows where people will go, oh, okay, yeah, we understand what you're doing. Whereas if you release it to the general public, they're just going to go, no. Yeah. So, all right.
Let's talk sci-fi.
Let's talk sci-fi. Yes. So I didn't realise as well until you started talking before we came on that you are a bit of a Whovian.
I am a Doctor Who fan. Yeah, amongst many other things.
So, are you classic or modern?
A bit of both. Matt Smith is definitely, and David Tennant were definitely my favourites. But go back to a bit of 80s Doctor Who.
Yeah. Peter and Sylvester and Tom.
Yeah, Sylvester. I'm not entirely convinced by the new Doctor Who, the woke
and Cootie. Don't throw that word around.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. We'll have to see, because he had some good stories in the previous one, and though in the previous series, he had some okay. I'm not putting him up there as the top one, and I think the writing can only get better after the previous few series. But no, yeah, I mean, yeah, Matt Smith and David Tennant, they were the golden years of the modern Doctor Who. It got to the point where everybody was sort of, and they had when they announced Peter Capaldi, they had the big TV show in the UK. It was prime time. It was like, we're going to reveal who the next one is.
Yeah,
and everyone was like, we know it's going to be Peter Capaldi.
And it's funny because you always had the Christmas special. And I remember sitting around with a group of friends back in the day, and we'd all sit there and watch the Christmas special together, or we'd watch you'd have Strictly and Doctor Who in the lead up to Christmas, and it always felt like Christmas when those were on.
Yeah,
so,
the Christmas Day special.
Yeah,
but they still have the Doctor Who Christmas, but it's not always on Christmas Day. I think there was one, or do they sometimes have a Christmas one and a New Year's one? I can't remember the last few years, but So anyway, you're a big Whovian. Now, have you played any Doctor Who games?
I've played the VR game.
Okay, so that's a modern one, yeah?
Yeah, which I thought was fantastic and a little bit daunting, actually, when I was playing it. I was a little bit weirded out, especially when I was in the, I think it was like a dryers, like when you go and get your laundry done.
Mm-hmm.
And Yeah, I found it a little bit like, ooh. So definitely one I'd revisit a few
It's
times.
called Doctor Who: The Edge of Time, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah, I didn't get
So,
very far on it.
what style of game was it? Was it like a point and
Sort of
click
point and
kind of
click,
thing?
solve puzzles and things like that. It's but it was yeah, really good. Just something that really gets you. Reminded me in a way of like a tame Silent Hill.
Okay,
So
so it's one of the like sort of slightly spooky episodes. You know,
yeah,
sort of your weeping angels, or I don't know the names of
I
the
can't remember the
ones.
characters that were in it, but it was just really good. So and obviously you had the episodic one that was released on the PlayStation. Um, and I think when they released it as a physical release, it had all the episodes on it, which was really good. They
It's
did the
play
same with
which PlayStation was that?
PlayStation 3, I think. They did the same with Back to the Future
Okay.
as well.
On PlayStation 3, there was Doctor Who: The Eternity Clock.
Hmm.
Um, I think that was it. That's the only one I've seen for PlayStation 3. Oh, okay. So yes, it was the Eternity Clock. They only actually released the first episode,
Right, okay.
unfortunately. Um, oh, blimey. um, yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, you probably don't want to play it.
Why?
It's 39 on Metacritic. Yeah, didn't really get received as well as some games.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I'm just trying to find out if I can see if I can find a Doctor Who game. I have played Doctor Who games, but the thing is, because they're just called Doctor Who, something or other. Now, I remember playing in the 2010s. There was a lot of flash games on the BBC website,
Yeah, yeah.
um, and then they announced like a big one. I can't for the life of me remember which one that was. But again, it was one that you had to install. So, there you go. Doctor Who: The Adventure Games, Windows and Mac OS.
Oh.
They were a free download to residents of the UK via the BBC's official Doctor Who website. There you go.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, so I remember playing them, and they were okay. Yeah, I mean they were free. So the fact that they didn't work perfectly,
Mm.
they weren't 99 out of 10 games,
Yeah.
but the fact that they were free meant I played a bit of, and I don't think I ever completed all 5 episodes with it. Yes, 5 episodes there was a series 1 which had 4 episodes, and
Mm.
series 2 had 1 episode.
Yeah.
uh,
Wasn't there a Doctor Who? I think it was called Return to Earth or something like that on the Wii.
yes, Return to Earth. Yep.
And that had the I think your Wii controller was the sonic screwdriver, if I remember rightly. But
And
it
a
was
lot of these games are Matt Smith. I mean, I think Matt Smith must have probably have box in his attics, just all these games that he's probably been given.
yeah, yeah. It was quite a good game actually. I
Oh,
mean,
was it?
yeah, I quite enjoyed it. I
Uh-huh.
mean, most games on the Wii were crap, but I quite enjoyed this one.
Official Nintendo magazine gave the game a 19% rating and branded it an insult to Doctor Who fans.
I quite enjoyed it.
Australian video game talk show Good Games 2 presenters gave the game a 1 and 1.5 out of 10, saying it's one of the worst games I've ever played.
I really enjoyed it. So there was
Sorry.
let's go right back now. Let's go right back. The first ever Doctor Who game was called Doctor Who: The First Adventure on the BBC Micro in
Uh,
1983.
yeah. Now you see, I think might have played one of these at
Mm,
school, because I'm
probably.
sure that one of them was probably an educational one.
Yeah, that certainly
Because
wasn't.
the Doctor Who and the Warlord in 1985, it was promoted as part of the BBC Computer Literacy Project. which meant basically they gave a load to schools and stuff.
To promote the next series, probably. Dalek Attack was released in 1992 on MS-DOS, ZX Spectrum, Commodore 64, and Amiga ST. And
I tell you what, these early games, there was some good artwork. I mean, the very first one has got Peter Davidson in like sort of, I don't know, like a green aura, sort of space laser aura with a planet in front of him and the TARDIS behind him in like a comic book style graphics. And yes, just cheesily fantastic, isn't it?
Doctor Who, the Mazes of Time, Matt Smith again. It says it was an Android game, an iOS game. It was a very small game, but it features plenty of Doctor Who enemies from the Weeping Angels, Cybermen, and Daleks. So, I don't know if that's still available. There's loads.
Apparently, the Android version didn't run very well.
About right.
So apparently, it got well received. But yeah, Matt Smith was in a lot of these games.
He's in a lot of the audio books as well. I mean, it's always him or David Tennant.
Evacuation Earth was on the DS. Reception gave it 3 out of 10 and a 2 out of 10. I mean, there's never been a Doctor Who game that I think, unless you're a Whovian, most Doctor Who games will have passed you by, because especially nowadays, people look it up and go, "Oh God, that's terrible reviews." And other than the fact that there was free ones if you lived in the UK, I mean, I would never be tempted to buy one, just because generally they weren't of a standard. They were normally given to low, sort of cheap development teams or in-house BBC teams who didn't have very big budgets, didn't have very many people, and they're just that's why nowadays I think pretty much all the games since the end of 2021 have been Android and iOS, because they've probably got freemium parts about it, and the one that's in development right now, I'm very sorry if this makes people have a little sick come up in their mouth, but it is a digital collectible card blockchain game.
Oh God. Interesting fact here. So there are 10 video games where Doctor Who infiltrated the game unbeknown to users. So the list includes Assassin's Creed Origins in 2017, Wizard 101 in 2008, Fallout New Vegas in 2010, The Witcher 3. What else we got here? Star Marshal.
Well, apparently there's plenty of games that you can get costume packs. Lego Dimensions, Fall Guys, Little Big Planet 3,
Lego Batman,
the Pinball Arcade. So if you want to just look like the Doctor, have at it in probably better games.
Yeah, it's interesting though how he's in lots of games without people, even in Destroy All Humans, he was in that.
But I think we can't talk about our geeky game sci-fi likings without talking about good old Star Trek, because that one we have got some absolute bangers going on.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about you, how many you played, but there's one that stood out for me, which actually isn't one of the best. It is. Hang on, I'm just trying to find the actual name of it. There you go. Star Trek Bridge Commander. Now, it isn't the best game.
No.
It got 7s and 8s at the time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't a terrible game, but it was the only one that made you feel like you were in charge of a of a of a starship, and you could interact with people. I mean, literally on the screen, you would have your navigator and whatnot on the screen in front of you. But yeah, so it was a first person tactical menu driven, because yeah, you were controlling the bridge of a starship.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was more or less first person, but you could talk to other characters on the bridge and whatnot. And yeah, it was the game that everybody wanted. If it was probably not as simple as everybody wanted, but if you got the hang of it, it was a damn good game. And it was, yeah, as I said, it was what everyone wanted. So should have been a higher rating. And I think if it was created now, I think maybe, could you imagine something like No Man's Sky or Elite Dangerous with a Star Trek skin on?
Oh, that'd be brilliant.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Having a universe with, I don't know what it is, a billion stars or whatever that No Man's Sky has, as Star Trek, and you could get blasted over to the other side of the universe, like Voyager, and just meet all these new alien types. Oh, I suppose you could role play No Man's Sky, but yeah. Anyway, Star Trek Bridge Commander came out in 2002. So if you can get it now, highly recommend playing it.
It was like a Quake-like game that came. I think it might have been Elite Force. I could be wrong.
Yeah, there's quite a few first and third person shooters.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Elite Force ones. Great games. There was Elite Force 2, I think. Yeah, Elite Force 2 came out in 2003.
There was a Star Trek Borg, the interactive movie on the PC.
Oh dear, that doesn't sound like an interactive movie.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. I'm just having a look at that now. Fantastic cover. Just picture of a Borg cube, picture of a Borg, Star Trek Borg. Done. The ultimate interactive movie, co-star with John Delancey, reprising his role as Q. Well, of course he did, because he was the cheapest.
Yeah. Or Franks, he might have been in it as well.
It should just say co-star with John Delancey, because we couldn't afford Patrick.
Actually, it doesn't look too bad.
Oh, it's 4.1 out of 10 on GameSpot. In September 2017, PC Gamer ranked Star Trek Borg among the best Star Trek games. So maybe it's been one that, because obviously an interactive movie meant it was a Star Trek episode, really, that you control.
Is Star Trek Online still on? Is it still working?
Yes, I believe so. Hang on. No, that's...
Well, I know there was a Borg update for it.
Let me just scroll down a bit. Yeah, so Star Trek Online has been out since 2016, and still going. It's free to play, I believe.
It is.
So yeah, I remember trying to play it on PC, not on PC, on Xbox, and there was just quite a lot to. It's another one of these ones where you've got to do about 30 different things. You've probably got to put about 30 hours a week in. Otherwise people will take over this or destroy that.
Everyone thinks they're going to become Picard and get the
Yeah. I mean, it was all right. I remember it being okay. It's there are better free to play games. But if you like sci-fi, I mean, you've got Star Wars as well, which we decided not to do Star Wars today because it's not TV. I don't know, there is lots of TV stuff, but the main line games are not.
I still like going back to the days of Count Duckula the game and Super Ted the game and Postman Pat the game, but they're not sci-fi, so
Postman Pat the game. Oh,
Yeah.
what was that on?
That was on the Amstrad.
Amstrad and Spectrum. That okay.
It was actually rubbish.
I was going to say, don't say it was good, because there's not a chance that could have been good.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. So
no, it's Star Trek. I don't know if you're looking at the same thing I am, but there was a text game in 1971.
wow.
Yes, I kid you not. It was released on the mainframe Sigma 7 HP 2000C Data General Nova PC. So
basically, you only played it at universities then.
Yeah, so I think it was probably had to have a computer that was in some university and probably worth about $5 million.
Yeah.
All was created in a garage with a bucket and a dishwasher. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, yeah,
I loved Force Awakens 2. I enjoyed that one, and Jedi Power Battles on the PlayStation 1, and Pod Racer, of course, which was fantastic. Recently got a HD remix as well.
Oh, Pod Racer?
Yeah.
What, Star Trek?
Star Wars.
I was going to say that's Star Wars.
No.
I thought, have we gone on Star Wars? Oh,
briefly.
Okay, briefly. Well, I mean, Star Trek. There's quite a few style. There is obviously quite a few sort of spaceship fighting tactical games, and I think there's Starfleet Command. They're like 3D.
Oh, that was good. Yeah,
3D style space tactical fighting games. But then there was the one that was a bit like the sort of Age of Empires, wasn't there?
Yes. Funny enough, I'm looking at that right now. Bear with, I'll get you the name of it.
Bear with.
Bear with. Away Team, it was called.
Away Team.
Away Team.
Are you sure? Whoa, was that? Hang on, I'm just trying to remember that one. Away Team, a real-time tactics. Oh yeah, okay, yes, okay, yeah, it probably is that one. Let me just look up the graphics of it, and I will tell you if that's the one that I am thinking of.
There was also Starfleet.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, there was also Starfleet Command, which did a similar thing, but with ships.
Yeah.
And then Star Trek Armada was another one. I mean, there was loads of different
Armada sounds like another one.
Ship-on-ship combat.
Yeah. Armada, that was like a 4X one. So yeah, if you like strategy games, I think that's probably where the more recent games are stronger. There was a Bridge Crew virtual reality one. Have you tried that?
I haven't. No. I kind of feel like I'm going to be disappointed, so I never bothered with it. So
it's got generally positive on Metacritic, so 78, 75, but that's on PC and PS4.
That's because all the Trekkies haven't got anything else to turn to. Yeah.
But then, is it a multiplayer? I think it's multiplayer as well. So you could have somebody on navigation, somebody in the captain's chair. That could be quite good. But did you ever play any of the 16-bit games? So there was like the Deep Space Nine games, and
I played it on the SNES, which I quite enjoyed. So. Which was the next generation game, but it was pretty naff. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it was pretty naff.
There was a couple of sort of point and click games, those kind of games, but yeah.
It's the game you were talking about, by the way. It's Star Trek Starfleet Command 3.
Ooh, yeah, sounds rubbish.
Yeah, it does. But Elite Force 2 was the one I was thinking of, which is the first-person shooter, and that was fantastic. And
yeah, Elite Force was very good. And you could set your phasers to stun.
Yeah.
Which obviously nobody did. Oh no, I accidentally killed everybody. Oh no, I killed everybody again. Oh no, just everybody's dead.
Oh, good old
So there
times.
was SNES. There was Star Trek: Next Generation,
Yeah.
Futures Past. I have played that. More recently, but I remember because obviously back in the day you used to get instruction booklets, and I I I couldn't couldn't get the hang of it, so I didn't actually play it. But I couldn't get anywhere on it, but it got quite okay reception. You can go to planet surfaces and interact with the computers and different characters.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want a bit of retro Star Trek, that's a good one to start with.
Surprisingly,
Apparently,
there's
the NES version is slightly better than the Mega Drive version.
better sound, better graphics, the usual. But surprisingly, there was a lot of arcade Star Trek games from
Yeah.
Voyager. There was the original Star Trek game, which was like in 1982. It was made by Sega, and it was like a Vectric style game, or vector graphics even. There was what else we got here? I'm just looking
Well,
on the
there
list.
was a Telltale style game, which was like a story based, called like a Telltale games, like Walking Dead kind of
Yeah,
game, released, but it was actually by Telltale, called Resurgence. Now, yeah, I haven't played it because the reviews of it were like, eh.
just shit.
So I've never really felt like putting the money down for it, and I just can't be bothered to pirate it. So yeah.
Of course, Star Trek Voyager arcade actually had not only an upright one, but it had a sit-down cabinet, a bit like the Jurassic Park arcade.
Ooh, nice.
That's how popular Voyager was back in the day. Obviously,
Do you
riding.
know what? I'm going to be controversial here.
Go on.
Voyager, I would put alongside Next Generation
As what, the best or the
as the
worst?
best. The best.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I think Deep Space Nine for me is the worst.
I prefer Deep Space Nine to Enterprise.
Do you know what? I've got a love-hate relationship with Enterprise. I've started watching it again recently, and
It had the occasional good episode, but
yeah,
overall, it just. I mean, Scott Bakula, I like him in some things, but
Quantum Leap.
I
Mm.
don't really. Wasn't really a fan of him.
You can't really beat Picard. I mean, Picard
No.
is the one. What do you think to the most recent ones? Strange
Well,
New World.
Strange New Worlds I
Discovery.
haven't actually seen because it's
Okay.
on Paramount Plus, and I'm not about to get Paramount Plus. What's the other one? Discovery, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Now, Discovery, I watched the whole first series, and I was like, I started the second series, and I went, am I just watching this because it's Star Trek and I feel I should?
Yeah.
And I was just like, nah, it's not really me.
Mm.
I just didn't bother.
It's a lot of
And
talking.
then they took that off. At that point, I had Netflix, and then they took that off Netflix, and so I was like, well, screw you. If you want to put it on a dying streaming service, feel free.
Yeah.
I really don't know how Paramount Plus is still going. I
No, I
really
don't.
don't.
They'll all be back on Netflix soon.
Because I mean, maybe it's more popular in America. I don't know, but over here, I don't know anybody who has it other than when it's bundled in free with something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's pointless. Yeah.
I mean, Next Generation, I think, was by far the pinnacle for me.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many good episodes, and it just worked so well. And when it didn't work well, it was normally like when they they changed the character for no reason. The Doctor and whatnot, and then they brought her back.
Yeah.
They may have. It was one time where fan requests actually did work well.
Yeah,
because I'm a big fan for them going, no, do you writers and stuff, do your own thing because it's your show. If somebody wants to do a different show, let them do that. Oh no, you can't afford the 1 million per episode.
And what about Lower
obviously,
Decks?
Obviously the original series, I would put. So you got Next Generation, Voyager, then probably Deep Space Nine and the original, probably the original just above Deep Space Nine, then Enterprise, and then the new ones. I haven't seen Strange New World, so I can't. That's unrated.
It's very good. Very good.
I've heard that it's good.
Mm.
Yeah, I haven't got Paramount Plus. I can't.
Have you watched Lower Decks?
Yes, I have seen some of that. That's on.
Very funny.
Is that's on Prime, isn't it? I think.
Yes.
Or it was on Prime. Well, it is in this country anyway.
Very funny.
So I've seen a few of them there. It's quite good. I quite like the characters in that. And also, it's nothing to do with Star Trek technically, but I do like the Orville as well.
Yes, and it's such a shame we're not getting another series of that.
No, it's the first couple of series were the best. Yeah, but yeah, it was a very comedy love letter to Star Trek. But then they started bringing Star Trek back. So yeah.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
Well, there you go. We were going to do Stargate, but we looked up Stargate games, and there wasn't really that much in Stargate. I mean, there was some okay. There was handheld games. There was 1995, then SG-1 game, Stargate World, Stargate Resistance, blah 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 blah. So yeah, not really that many, but yeah, they are out there if you're a big Stargate fan.
I think
including
we covered it with everything
Stargate else. Pinball. Yeah. So there you go. So that's just one of the many TV shows that we like, and some of the games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So next week we've got an interview, haven't we?
We do. Yeah. We
are
reviewing
watch this space.
An upcoming book as well.
We do like talking about handhelds on this podcast.
We do.
Yeah. And yeah, so yeah, can we say?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not.
No.
But yeah, hopefully we'll have an interview next week, and yeah.
Yeah.
And then we also Mega CD will be covered at some point.
It will be.
Yes, like and subscribe, like you said. And we will see you next week for episode 92. And on that note,
bye.